Wow. Alright. Goo gaga. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dum, dum, dum. Alright, Firefox music. Let's see. What do you got for me? Whoops, misclick. Misclick, misinput, misinput, misinput. I will push the sequence here. Okay, that is going, this is going, this is not going. Okay, I am, so we continue with our thing, right? This is pretty much gonna be our life for a bit, for a really long time, actually. So, there's a lot of stuff to do, right? Number one, we have some sketches for the characters to really tie in, especially them in the same scene, just to get the sense of the height and the scaling. That's number one. Let's see. This is one thing. Another thing, of course, is our rendering. Let's see. Okay, so rendering is interesting because it depends on how we want to see this. If we see it as a series of things that is meant to be presented together, which it is, we should probably tie down the consistency, like the rendering consistency, it should be consistent. But if we see it as a journey of art, then in that case, it doesn't actually matter. Because like whatever that I draw, as long as I'm okay for that one scene, for that one piece, that is a representation of our current skill level, is a representation of where we are in our current journey. I think that can be construed as fine, right? So actually there's two parts to this. The consistent or not should probably be phrased better because this is over here. It should be like so I was thinking maybe we could have used it on purpose, like many different styles, to reflect the fact that I never really chose. I couldn't really find one that I really liked. It'd be interesting to go through a series of artists. There's a couple of counter reasons against this. First of all, we're trying to make it more personal. Second of all, likely it's going to be very hard to carry through because we always have a different target each time, right? So this is probably kind of hard to do consistently. I mean, like it's a consistent inconsistency, and that in and of itself is a consistency that we have to maintain across the different pieces. And not to mention, we probably won't have like enough stuff to go all 20 with. I'm not sure. But hello, Everjungus. Hello, Wizard. Only one here. I see one additional viewer, but as well, that's kind of how it is, you know. Like in the beginning, usually I'm by myself, and usually I'm just kind of talking to myself. Later on, people tend to come. At least recently, I think there was a period of time where it would just be like this for like hours, for like the entire stream. But for me, it's the same. I do what I have to do. I think not much different on my part. If I have to talk to myself, then I'm gonna talk to myself, which is pretty good still. As long as I'm talking, I'm focused, and I'm doing she's. All right, let's see. What else is there? Thank you, Reezer. I'm just trying to go down. Today I want to do some sketches and comping, possibly. I think we should be able to get to some ideas too. So as I'm trying to tie down certain things with text, because the more clear I am in my head. Yes, I do get what you mean. Right, so this is not really compositional ideas. This is more of the settings surrounding the system, because I think there are some things that we have to probably tie down in terms of the circumstances of the journey, right? Like, for example, if the journey took place over the course of an afternoon, rather over a course of 3 to 4 hours, then each piece that we draw needs to imply this inherent sense of urgency. We can't have people sitting down drinking tea, you know what I mean? Like, it's not possible within that period of time. So the good thing is that I was actually there experiencing this thing, so we're not gonna fall into that trap that much. But I think it's nice to be explicit about some of the requirements and circumstances. So I think this will just be called context. In spur of the moment quest. Right, so that is the tone of the journey, right? As much as we would like to have fun, the tone is an urgent one. There are also other things. Like, let's say the weather. Well, that wind, it wasn't very windy. We could just add wind though. These are not too bad, because these things don't have to be held, right? The weather has to be held consistent, but like not wind, right? It could just happen. Actually, none of these are really that important. The thing I really wanted to tie down was that if this was like, if you choose a singular song to represent the entire journey, you know, if it's a fair thing to do. But let's say that it is a fair thing to do. If I were to choose one song, what would I choose, right, to represent this journey? Because I think that sets the mood of the series. Given that it's kind of, because just because it's urgent, it doesn't mean it has to be like very cheerful or bright. Just because it's like an adventure, it doesn't have to be cheerful or bright. But I guess the fact that it is kind of spur the moment, actually, it's kind of interesting, because I'm not listening to the same music that you guys are listening to, right? I'm just like a random mix list that YouTube gave me, and this artist is probably the most representative, I think, of all the artists in recent memory that I've been listening to. This artist was actually one of the artists that inspired the entire journey in the first place. I'm just gonna send it here. So this artist here, I believe this is she, the composer. But their songs, at least like the ones before, I'm not sure about the recent ones. I haven't been looking at it too closely. But there is this song, right? If Summer is Calling Us. This song is very interesting because they made it a long time ago. They made it, I don't know, like early 2020s, right? But what they do is every year they remake the video. And the reason why is because this is not a song. This is a song about seizing the moment. It's about living the moment and going out there and doing adventure and just enjoy life. That's what this song is about, right? So you can see there's a 2025 version. If we scroll down here, there's a 2023. I probably skipped over 2024 somewhere in here. 2024 is over here. And every time they remake the video, they would remake the MV. And the reason why is because every year during summer, they would go out there and they would go out and play with their friends. They would travel Japan, like the Japanese, they would travel Japan. I think this is the one I saw, 2021. So the entire music video, unlike all the other stuff, tends to be like a video log, basically, is what it is. And how should I say this? Like, when I first heard this, right, it was... So for the most of my life, it's been like more of a sort of silent struggle kind of thing, where I wasn't really in control. I just kind of like felt really bad and then this and that. Like, nothing really happened, right? And then after 2020 came about and I wanted to start drawing, it was when I started being more alive. I felt like I finally woke up, right? And this was one of the songs that really inspired me to want to travel to Japan in the first place. So I think this is quite fitting. It isn't necessarily what I would like to hear, per se. I feel like, you know, like enjoying... How do I say this? It just fits in terms of mood. But then if given the chance, I feel like it would be nice to craft something with a different set of instruments or different something, this and that. But it is the right direction, I think. I'm not 100% convinced, but I think it is the right direction. No, I'm not Japanese. I'm not Japanese. I'm just gonna put a Japanese. Actually, I'm gonna read the whole thing. Oh my god. How do I paste without formatting though? Control Shift V? Oh, okay. They're so sneaky about it. They don't even tell you that it's possible. Okay, I mean, that's kind of about it. I'm currently also in the process of trying to tie down the rendering a little bit more. I'm looking at a lot of the stuff on my list, and I'm trying to see what's my first impression of other people's art. Because if my first impression is, yeah, this is kind of like complicated, right? There's a lot of details and textures and stuff, then I know it's not specifically that for me. But if my first impression is like, hey, this is kind of like not enough detail or something, like it's too fuzzy, the shapes are too unclear, then I know that it's on the other side of the spectrum. So we can try to pin it down somehow. Even a lot of the stuff that I brought in before, I kind of have like some new opinions about where I stand relative to these. But regardless, I think I'm just gonna bring some stuff in here so that the next time with yet another fresh mind, right, I can evaluate everything as a whole yet again, like over and over and over. That's kind of how it works. I've been doing this process for like one of the RIA designs for a little bit, and it does work. It is interesting. It does take time though, because over time what happens is that you will bounce off of the lower end and you bounce off of the top end, and then you slowly coalesce somewhere in the middle. And you will still be aware of like the benefits of the top and bottom, like in terms of more detail or less detail, and or like different types of design and proportion. But you'll be satisfied with where you are in the middle, because you've really tried pushing on both ends, right? And you're pushed back, and that is like the most natural position for yourself after a bunch of back and forth. So you're more willing to accept it. So I'm just gonna bring in more stuff real quick, and then I'm just gonna start sketching, I think. Oh my god. I think the correct way to do this is to get a rough sense of where I want to be, then do a couple of studies until that process is somewhat stable. Like the outcome is somewhat stable. Process, hard to say. But if the outcome can be somewhat stabilized, then when we do the actual thing, we just kind of let ourselves go and automatically paint. We should just arrive at somewhere natural. I don't think I should hold it to a specific standard or try to aim for a specific level of stylization. I think we should align it intuitively. Oh my god, how big is this? And then just paint intuitively. Because when I get too objective with the thing, it's really a huge mess. Very hard to tie down consistently, properly, and all that. This artist has some interesting thing. Some of these look kind of incomplete, although it does have that sort of big shapes kind of vibe. It just looks a little empty, but some looks a little noisy. That's very interesting, because ideally we should find a spot where it's just consistent. Like this top looks a little bit incomplete in the noisy way. This looks like an incomplete in the quiet way where it's like empty. And then you have like this is like too much, right? This is clearly gonna be too much for like 20 pieces in a row. Over here is kind of okay, but it's not very, very clear as to the level of stylization. Although big shapes, very nice, of course. This one here as well. Alright, I think rendering needs to separate between... There's one thing that we can be sure is that I'm not going to add a lot of details unless it is necessary. So in the sense of, if you have like a lot of buildings, a lot of windows and stuff, then yes, you want to paint those. But if you have a flat wall, I'm just going to leave it quite flat, I think. We're not going to add like too many like additional colors or shades of colors unless the wall itself was meant to be that broken up. I think that is the plan. This is the ping. This one is just really artsy. This one, my mind isn't able to separate between just the colors versus the shapes, I think. The evaluation, I think, is a little bit too biased towards colors. Oh yeah, and then there's like a couple of other ideas in terms of how to tie down the rendering. If like, say for example, I only limit myself to a set of brushes, then that's inherently going to tie the rendering consistency down, because you can only do so much with those brushes. Your solution space is already limited. If you can, say for example, tie down the number of values you use in a portion of the piece, like for example, background is always going to be 4 different values, for example. Now that's another tie down, and you're forced to sort of merge shapes together. And assuming like the photos and the references that you use are about the same values, like same value spread, then the outcome should probably be around the same, I think. Now, even if there's more value spread, it will also be about the same. Because by merging shapes, you're forcing stylization into a specific... Okay, I think that's interesting, I think. Either way though, there's a lot of experimentation required, probably. So I think that's about it for like the stuff that I want to pull in. There was some interesting stuff from Pinterest still, but I think it's fine for now. It's just artist brought in. I can't tell if I brought these guys in already or not. Yeah, it's not here. Not here? Am I sure about that? I don't know. Well, I mean, I don't see it here for now. I mean, it makes sense. This is something I found on Pinterest, so I don't know who drew this. There is like... actually, this looks like AI. Never mind. This looks like AI. But I brought this in primarily because of this part here. That posterization that is being done with the filtering. Of course, AI just generated pixels directly, but you can replicate that with that one filter. And I thought that might be interesting if we can incorporate some photos into leverage, like to lighten our load a little bit. That would be great. That would be so amazing if we can do that. Did I bring this artist in? What? I thought I opened the tab, but I guess I don't see it. I forgot to keep the name here. No, I didn't bring it. What? Huh. I'll have to find these sources still eventually. Oh, hello, George. Oh, I only just saw the rest of the message tomorrow. Spoiler alert. But yes, anyways, this thing is what it is. But like, I am also gonna just briefly mention, if you guys see anything funny in the chat, that's clearly offensive and not very nice, please just let me know. We're just gonna stop those things from now on, I think. Like, for the most part, I'm not gonna like micromanage conversations. I'm not gonna come in and say that you can't talk about certain things. But like, outright just offensive stuff, I think there's no purpose for them at all. So we just lock that down. Everything else is business as usual, I think. Well, I didn't go through everyone's past messages. I've just gone through enough for me to see enough things to figure out like what to put in the message to say that what is not allowed, you know, if you know what I mean. Like, there's a lot of messages. Like, there are some of you guys who are so active that literally has accumulated like 40,000 messages throughout the course of their time here, which is very impressive, kind of insane. Even if most of them are just reaction, like GIFs and images and like just single sentence, like short messages, like answering and stuff. But no, I think for the most part, people are fine. Honestly, I haven't really seen that much of it, which is why it took this long, right, for me to even have to send this. For the most part, everyone is very, very well behaved, I think. Both in the server and also on stream. Mind you, like being this long on YouTube, like public facing without getting like basically of a whole bunch of rage baiters all the time and this and that, you know, I think it's kind of impressive. I honestly think it's been quite impressive so far. The fact that we aren't getting like rage baited every day. Like in the past, people actually come to Twitch, like my Twitch, and then start spamming advertising links, and I would just not see the link for like the entire stream because I'm not looking at the OBS thing. I thought it was kind of funny, but anyways, it's all good. Again, going back to like the whole like being an adult thing, I think if I do see anything bad, or if anyone do see anything bad, it's just communicate at that point in time, right? Don't bottle up your feelings. If you're offended and you're tolerating, be aware that you're tolerating the behavior, right? It is important to be able to tolerate, because the public spaces, everyone has to compromise, right? The people who want to make the joke has to try to not make these jokes, and the people that don't want to see it has to at least not just explode the moment they see one thing, you know? There needs to be some amount of compromise on both sides. It's just that if you're feeling negative emotions, you have to be aware of it, because it's very easy to be like, dang, I've been tolerating this for all this time. Why doesn't anyone care about my feelings? I still keep seeing this. I'm going to explode and rage at this person, right? I think it's very relatable. But at the same time, like if you're feeling negative emotions, you have to let people know. If not, no one knows how you're feeling either. So it's just communicating. At the end of the day, it's just communicating ideas, communicating boundaries. That's it. If people can do that before they explode, that's great. That's a huge step forwards. And then the next step is just to not escalate. Learn to not escalate. If you communicated, people don't want to listen, that's it. End of conversation. Just distance yourself from the conversation. And then that's that. Don't talk to this person ever again, you know? That's kind of that. Like, just communicating and understand that like you're not going to agree with everybody. Even if you feel like they're just objectively wrong what they're doing. That's just how some things are gonna be, you know, so it's fine. Just let it go. You don't have to die on this hill of like trying to get the moral high ground and then win the argument and this and that. There's gonna be a lot of these in the world. Anyways, that's a rough idea. But hello Duvet. I'm still getting a little bit caught up in collecting references, of course. There's also another set of issues, which is the rendering for proportions. Tying down proportions and sketches is also yet another thing. And this one, unfortunately, is not something easily done on stream because the proportion references tend to be a little bit more skin, shall we say. But anyways, I'm just gonna warm up and then we do some sketches for character, just kind of standing around. I want to get a scale for how my character compares to the other two characters. And then the other thing I was thinking of was whether if I should bring in my remaining two characters in anyways. I think I'll definitely bring in my old character that died because uh yeah, like I always carry a piece of her anyways. It's so she can be counted as being always together with the main cast no matter what. It's just whether if Faye comes in or not because Faye technically didn't even exist yet chronologically in the real life real world. But in but if we treat this like sort of art series as like a out of an already established universe kind of way, then because the universe has already been established, all the characters should already be present, right? So everyone should be involved. And if we're paying homage for like already three of them, then why not just bring in Faye? You know, there's only one more. And one more is a lot more work potentially, but seems kind of sad if she's not. Oh yeah, no problem, George. All the way. All the best. Uh what kind of sketches should I do? Sketches with proportion that I agree on? Sorry. Agree on or not agree on. Dang, it's gonna be kind of weird. Like I would like to keep things consistent if possible. That would mean that over the course of the 20 or so pieces, we're gonna do this like a really weird way. Because I'm gonna go through everything and compose everything. With values and shapes. Then I go through everything and add all the characters in and check all the poses and check their stories. See if it's consistent. But there will be a lot of back and forth across the 20 pieces. And then we'll be fixing stuff back and forth until everything feels consistent enough. And then we'll move on to the next stage of like color roughing everything and then this and that. And then finally into rendering everything. I'm just gonna warm up here. I'm gonna lock this page down. Load, 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 load. Come on, let's go. It's gone, it's gone. Yeah, character design. Look. Yeah, I don't think it's possible to be that consistent. Because the sheer lack of experience in all these areas of art means that it's gonna take forever for me to tie each area down consistently. And I think to get like a very stable art style is not just a matter of months, it's like a matter of years. Because I've been playing with Ria's proportions for a while now, and I've only found like it's only partially stable in the sense that like I can look at the same drawings again and they would feel okay. But like if I take a step back yet again and use some other references, right, to check some proportions or something, all of a sudden I feel like the one I had is weird again. I recognize what I liked about it before, but then I also recognize that some stuff should have been changed, but because I didn't see it, it shows that just a few months is not enough to tie it down. And I really don't want to be spending months tying down the style before we embark on this journey, because that's basically what the stream is, right? To tie down the style. So it is okay in that sense, but the art series thing, this thing with the Hong Kong is meant to be part of this. So it doesn't make sense to tie it down first before doing this because this is the whole point of tying it. Like this is the whole process of tying it. Sorry, anyways, this is a whole stupid rant. Um, just looking for more interesting poses, but I guess I'm not finding anything for some reason. I'm in the wrong part of Pinterest, I think. My music end like 5 years ago. Oh my god. I just need to. Oh, something on my keyboard or mouse is giving me false inputs once in a while. Yes, goodbye, George. Why does it look black to me? This looks kind of red to me. Lock it down, please, sir. Oh, right. Yeah, sorry. One more thing that I wanted to write down here. Character-based differences. And if there are 4 breaking elements and stuff like that, I think it would depends on all these different things. And then just do comp. Oh shit, it's linked. Let's see, establishing. Yeah, it's either third person or point of view shot. Point of view could be character, point of view can be camera, which is basically just additional filters. That's the only difference. The camera, the point of view, other comp ideas. Yeah, landscape or not landscape. I guess I suppose I can make the book work regardless. I suppose. Oh, okay. I mean, something must come first, right? Then I think whatever that we want to draw should come first. Dang, YouTube, so long to load. Oh, I see we're pushing off the plane here. Not as in control as I like. Yeah, we need to up. Characters have to be tied down though, like this has to be tied down consistently well enough before we can even do anything. Before we can do everything rather. Anything and everything. Scaling and proportions. Oh, I see. It's not nearly high enough. Now we're Hodone. Horenarado. Tablet is still turning black. My screen is still like, it's like dying on me. Oh my god, my tablet is not having a good day today. This is impossible. It's turning black every 5 seconds. It's kind of insane. Let me try and reconnect it. Oh my god. pretty bad. Yeah. I guess we haven't drawn in a while, huh? Thursday and Friday I didn't draw. That's all we did was plan. Yeah, I don't know. Oh wait, no, the thing is only. Oh, when we target this? I can't see the perspective. Even. We could. It's a good chance that you guys are gonna see that. You're gonna see me going back and forth between like the same images. Alright, to the same images multiple times, fixing the same thing multiple times, and just pushing the face like a bit and a bit and a bit and a bit. Okay. I have to set some realistic expectations here. I don't think it's possible to be that consistent. I can only rely on the fact that you guys have always mentioned that there's a, like, it's already distinct enough, like what I draw. Because I can imagine, right? I would push the face a little bit 2 pixels to the left on one piece, and then I would feel like I have to do it for like all the pieces. That's how I would feel like. And I would be very inclined to do it as well, because I want to get it as perfect as possible. I have to keep in mind that if I do that, I'll never finish anything. And also, whatever that I'm doing is not going to be perfect anyways, so... It's gonna be a struggle. It's gonna be a big struggle this time around, I'm sure. They're gonna see it, I'm sure. It's part of the growth, I guess. Yes, Tuve. It feels like you're shouting it out. Like, Berlin! Ah! Oh, heck anyway. Very nice. Very nice. Where's the daily Yahoo? It's over here. Oops, nice click. Okay, things are still stable. Did it get? No, it did not. Look at that. So you just see half an ass over here. It's loaded today, huh? The background would not be loaded when I turn on my computer a couple hours before stream. Then it'll be loaded by the time we stream. But then sometimes by the end of the stream, it would just be unloaded for whatever reason. I don't know how the desktop wallpaper works, but it's not working very well. Windows, am I right? I see line is holding it together. Oh, so I guess it's not necessarily. Okay, this is a lot rougher than I thought it was. Actually, this is an interesting line. The rendering itself is big shapes though, but then there are a lot of detailed, I guess, details like these. So this is the other thing that I've been thinking about, like detail for form. For example, the grates over here, the windows and then like going in like the 3D formness of the window, right? I feel like I should paint in, but details like these, I feel like I can get a little bit more aggressive with abstracting them out. I feel like, unless they're really that important. But I guess it's down to the overall balance of everything. So I don't think it's that like clear cut. I'll probably go a lot of back and forth, but this is a good reference too, honestly. Like it's quite simple when it comes to the exact colors and render, and it's mostly just there to show the forms and the idea and like the actual objects. We're not trying to go overboard with the textures. Like I'll be inclined to even leave this areas like perfectly clean, almost just a giant gradient, just so that the eyes come over here even more. Build things little by little, like add details bit by bit until you get to the threshold where you're satisfied, perhaps. Yeah, I think the way I do things, like it's very, there's a very clear lack of self-confidence. I have no confidence that I can just go in and paint something and just be satisfied with it. That's why I feel the need to be like, oh yeah, okay, this is everything that I can possibly find. In some ways, I don't think I've changed. I don't think I've grown at all, like compared to when I first got my tablet like 15 years ago. What was it, like 15? 10 years ago, 11 years ago. Because back then it was the same, right? I thought I had to buy like one of the best tablets, and as well as like a drawing software that everyone else uses. I had access to Paint to Sai, right? That's the whole point of it. It's kind of like easily accessible for a lot of like younger audience, or like cheap. Like it's not as well. I don't even know if this is a financial requirement, but I felt the need to spend $60 on Clip Studio Paint because I wanted to be on the same playing field. But I didn't do anything, right? I didn't change anything. I think I should probably put a cap to the reference finding. I think that's about it. I think everything I have is it. Like if I cannot find a solution with what I have, then I was never gonna find it anyways. But yeah, this is interesting. There's a wide variety here though, like line heavy, painting heavy, but I guess this might be studies compared to some of the other ones. Yeah. Incremented brave enough put in art. Yeah, that is true. I'm still very much of the opinion that I want to see the end before I take the first step, you know? It's really like Avatar The Last Airbender, you know? Everything that got you this far, got me this far in math and science, is actively working against something that's a little bit more flexible, like art and content. I really cannot fathom the idea of like the journey being part of the whole thing. It's kind of insane to me that you're supposed to find things along the way. Like, imagine going out into the jungle with nothing, right? And you're just supposed to survive by yourself. And now I know it's possible, and I have done some of that myself, but like it's just very scary if you've never done it before. It just sounds insane. Like, you know, like I have all these tools that I can bring along with me, but you're telling me that the only way for the journey to even have any value is to not do it. Maybe not the only way, but like you get my point. Like it's very counterintuitive. This is kind of like what I was thinking of. Like you have characters that maybe have some lines, and then everything else is just painted, and they will just paint it to a level where it is satisfying to look at, and the characters don't look too out of place. That is true. Where is that line being drawn though, right then? The big picture. For me, it feels like unless I see everything, whatever that I have is worthless in my head. I mean, like, because it sure you set a direction, right? But once you start painting, I just lose all control. Because I see all the directions that we could possibly go in, I suppose. And I couldn't really make a choice while I'm in the thick of it. It feels like that. I don't know if that's necessarily true given the stuff we've done on stream. Maybe there are cases where it actively shows the opposite, but thinking about it now, it feels like it is very interesting. Like they really like this really like fuzzy kind of vibe edge, but then there are these clean edges. I don't know what is the decision factor here? Is it because it's closer to the character? Like the characters here are quite clean, but everything else that's going away is quite. The posters are not though. Is this a drawing? Holy shit. That's where the story comes in. I mean, like, but I think story this is interesting. Story exploration. Oh, I see. Limit the stuff you can put in. Right, but I'm more thinking of less of items on the scene in the scene on the canvas, but more so like how far do you bring the render? Like how do you like decide on what shapes to group or not group and stuff like that? I think like all of my like I think story wise we can do some exploration. Actually, that's part of my plan as well. Like the comms that I want to do. At this stage, I have no clear idea. It's not like I'm writing out the entire journey for the characters. I mean, for me, it's clear right, what the journey was, but for the characters, I'm not sure. I don't know if maybe like Ria is gonna find a cat, and then this cat will be a repeating like sort of character that comes in here and there. I want to leave that up to when I do comm. I want to leave that part to be explored, right? But for render, maybe it's just because of all the failures in the past. I think it's really scary for me to go in without having a clear idea of what's going to come out at the other end. Even if I know something that comes out, whatever that comes out at the end isn't going to be terrible. At least I have confidence to say that. I think we can figure something out. But... oh, storytelling. Where's the perspective here? I guess it's kind of like a hill kind of situation, where the ground's just a little bit curved. It may or may not be that way in real life, I suppose, but they're just letting it go. There's a bit of curve on this building too. Some kind of fish eye kind of vibe. Yeah, this representation here as well, I think the way they rendered this. I imagine this is a board here, like a flat surface. This one has the number here. So if there's reflected light from the bottom, they represented not just with a gradient, I guess. That should be an airbrush, I think. I'm sensing some kind of airbrush on the background too, but there's also these strokes here. So would I be doing something similar or not, right? Would I be doing that? How would I represent this if I were to be the one painting this? Would I leave the edges as, I guess, uneven as it is here? Or would I use a tool to block it out? Thinking about this like right now, like my instinct is to not use a tool. As tempting as it is to draw straight lines, I think. But the moment one straight line goes in, it drives me up the wall because I want to keep everything consistent now. I think it's a trap. I don't think I can do that. But without straight lines, like, can you imagine like a cityscape here where every single building is slightly crooked? How's that gonna work? I guess we can find out when we paint. But maybe this is it, right, Duvet? This is like the big picture. The big picture is that I don't think I should be using a ruler for any of these. But then when it comes to the actual execution, I can then give myself the space to be like, yeah, maybe I do need it for somewhere, you know. Maybe I do need it for the front areas, but maybe not for the back. Maybe I do need some brushstrokes to break up some of the shapes in the reflected light. Or maybe I can get away with just some large airbrush. I don't know, but we have some idea. We have two options here. And then we can just paint and see what happens. Maybe that's how it is. Maybe that's how it feels like to have an idea of something, but not be too bogged down by it. right? Maybe it's just an idea for like these kind of metal grades to just be drawn, hand drawn, and it would have been fine. Like I didn't even notice how crooked the lines were, right? That's why I've been trying to find in my art map thingy what that sort of ideal reference was, like, because I feel like I've seen something that I would really like to have. It was a rough-ish kind of style, right? More akin to the kind of like cell shading, essentially, to the stuff that you would see in like animators would do. And to some extent, like, this is kind of what we're doing, right? Even though we're not drawing like 24 frames a second here, but it is a lot of pieces. Oh dang, dude. Anyways, thank you, Dave. I think it's a good thing that this is definitely an interesting project. I think just by virtue of trying to even plan it out, I think I'm coming to terms with some of these limitations a little bit more concretely. And it's a good thing that I think I intend to do all the compositions first to tie the story down, because in that process of going through 20 pieces of art, at least, I'm gonna see exactly how much load it is, like how it feels like. And then that will be a good experience to reference and hold on to, as I really like the water here. As I decide on how much to render for each piece. Because I'm gonna be energetic when I render the first one, I hope at least. But by the time we get to the end, I will be pretty much dead. But if you want to keep it consistent enough, then we have to hold back in the front and then go all out at the end. I like this. It's got some nice shapes on the side here, some like walls and windows and stuff that I can reference. The lack of sort of general, like other sort of textures on this, is just the general noise that's everywhere. But there's still a little bit of color variation here. It's like some kind of gray against the reddish gray. And then of course there's a lighter spots on it. There's like 3 colors there. But generally it's quite flat. And then the water looks pretty nice too. It is noisy, but it's not too broken up, the shapes. It still feels like a big group of shapes. And then entry out and entry in. This is very interestingly executed. Why do I like it though? Maybe the values are just close enough that it's fine with all the noise. Right, contrast is the guide, the eye of the audience. Indeed, the way. Indeed. Yeah, oh man, this is quite the conflict. I think the concern is getting lines too straight would force me to do it for everything, and that is going to take up a lot of time. Getting shapes too clean would make it feel too empty, right? Even though you have a lot of shapes, even though you have a lot of things, it's going to feel too empty. But if you make it too noisy, then there's a lot of details that you might have to do for every single piece. Then it will also feel too noisy. It will also feel too fuzzy. Where is that line, dude? I'm sure we'll find it though, actually. I'm 100% sure we'll find it. Interesting. This is part of the trust the process thing, isn't it? I feel like I'm trusting the process a little bit more now. But only because I've seen it work though, honestly. Like, it's otherwise, like, why would I trust this nonsensical process of doing the same thing over and over again? And just trusting that the experience would help me somehow. Kind of crazy if you think about it. I don't know if this is supposed to be from Einstein, right? But it's that one quote that people always say, like, if you insanity is doing the same thing over and over again. Art kind of feels like that, because sometimes you do one time, you don't necessarily feel like you've learned anything, but you have to do it again, over and over, because that's the way forwards. Kind of insane to me, without knowing if it's where you're gonna be and stuff. Yeah, actually we just have to do whatever we can do. If I can't get it consistent, if I can't do that, then I just have to learn to let it go. Don't really have to... Even this, like right now. I don't know about the way I'm stylizing Ria's face, but I just trust that it has been... We've done a couple of these types of sketches over the course of the streams. And I just have to trust that we are somewhat consistent here. If it looks right and feels right, it should be fine, for the most part. Yeah, a reflection of the current existing skill. That is also acceptable, I think. Recognize limitation. It's too long. Since two people are wearing t-shirts, I should give them some interesting looking t-shirt. Even at least like I love Hong Kong kind of thing. I love HK, like I heart HK. Would be better than like a plain t-shirt. So I think that's bare minimum. Yes, Duvet. I think I'll do, by the way, I think I'll do 1 to 6 or 1 to 1.1 to either 1 to 1.5 or 2. I think 1.5 might be easier, and then we just split half and half over here. 1 to 1 here. Have you joined the Magma session in the server? No, I have not. I have not joined any Magmas at all. Outside of stream, I do not draw a Duvet. Is that something going on? I briefly saw something about Magma when I was reviewing messages, I think. I vaguely remember something like that. Is she too long? What in the world? Are you guys doing something? I think it's kind of funny that after I made the announcement, I saw a lot of people in the chat. I don't know if there are that many people usually. I feel like it's been a while since there's that many people in the chat. But that's a good thing, of course. There was one yesterday, I see. Yeah. I mean, and concurrent people, yeah, like the chat was really kind of taken off yesterday, I saw. For the most part, as I mentioned before, the server is just meant for you guys. I never had any intention to like be very active in it in the first place. This is currently 1.5. Alright, we're locking this key here. That is true. That is true. Was it like the event kind of thing, or just like a? I don't remember seeing anyone planning anything. Like it wasn't announced or anything. So it's just like a spontaneous thing, huh? That's pretty nice. I also saw Mia in there. I saw some chat messages from Mia. Although it might have been the weekend. Although it was the weekend, I guess, yesterday. Anyways, for me. Nice. You guys should probably upload it, like the completed thing somewhere. I hope you guys at least are keeping like a copy for yourselves. Shit. Are we too long? Keeper. Those hips are a little bit too tiny, I think. But this proportion, I think, is a bit too much. So target is here. Actually, I saw. Wait. Do I pin it or do I nod? Well, actually, just take it easy, right? We shouldn't be forcing any pins here. Ah, shit. Where did I put it? Did I delete it? Where's my recycle bin? Date deleted. That should have been close. Maybe I didn't. Where did I put it? Oh yeah, this one. That's furry version. I think I did of Ria a while ago. Except for the face, right? The face is a little bit... Eyes might be too big now. If we pin it here and just ignore the furry elements of it. No, actually mine is still better. Well. But yes, thank you, Duve. Sorry, I got distracted. It's not very likely that I'll be active in these things, because if I do, I will get really burnt out. Art has been heavy enough as it is, honestly. This Hong Kong nonsense is interesting in its own right, but I am kind of weary of it because it has all the signs of me getting burnt out and not being able to finish it. The scale of it, the requirements, which I'm actively constantly trying to push back down as I'm pushing it out. It's just a constant conflict in my head of like, oh, I should do this, but I'm like, no, I don't think that's possible once you multiply it by 20. Yeah, and then I'll have to compromise and I'll feel bad for not doing my best, what I consider is the best, you know? Actively compromising feels like you're giving up before you try, you know? But the thing is, we have tried something like that before and it didn't go well. So I guess it's technically not just giving it up, but... Yeah, the point is to have fun, huh? I agree. The point is to have fun. I just hope I can do it more consistently. But yes, thank you, Divya. I appreciate your efforts of trying to get me involved, I think. Is she like kind of slanted? Like, what the hell is happening? Why is it? I wanted to push the leg one side, but I kept this a little bit too close, I think. Yeah, I suppose. Oh my god. My brain is telling me that I'm supposed to do this whole thing without references, other than the backgrounds for the environment and stuff. But we should really be painting and drawing and doing everything without having to reference anything. That way the whatever that we have, we have. It'll be a very accurate representation of the current skill level, right? Because we're doing so many pieces and complex stuff. And it will be 100% ours in the sense that like whatever that is internalized from other people is internalized and is there. Whatever that isn't there. That will make it the most meaningful, I think. Something is weird about this. I don't know why it is. That's fine. I just want to get a sense of the skill. Body feels really small though, still. 1 to 1.5. I'm gonna check my own proportion references off stream here. I have quite a few of these now sorted out. Actually, this current list should be fine. I think this current filtering should be fine. So every piece of art here was marked for proportion. So I liked something, either the face, or the body, or both. You know, that kind of stuff. I just want to check. Like these guys are like a lot more, I think, stylized, just because. Oh, I need some kind of a ruler. That would be nice here. But I can draw on this, can I not? I thought I implemented a draw thing. I didn't. All right, let me add my to-do list. This thing to do is so huge now. Yeah, can you imagine, like, you can click one spot, click another spot, it will spawn like a red line or something, and then you can either repeat the red line in the same direction or set it up vertically or horizontally, and then it will just make comparing proportions a lot easier that way. So I know I don't want stuff like this, where it gets like the space is too squished like that. Oh, let me... I think this would put all the ones with like bodies versus the ones that just faces. She's gonna be quite thin though, I think. It's definitely gonna be quite thin. I see like there's more volume for the thighs and the butt over here. Let me think about this. I mean, Lucky Stars is like quiet. Even Lucky Star is slightly less than 1.5, I think. Still active. Actually, it's kind of risky. I don't know if these guys accounts as safe for work or not. You mean like this artist? You want the link to me? Yeah, 1.5 might be too small. I'm gonna bump it up to 2. Where's my 2 target here? Thereabouts, I think. Knock you guys out real quick. I cannot touch the ruler, bro. Feels a little big. Is this true? 1. Still not even. Ooh. Bro, I don't have to follow. I just have to make it work for myself. I'm gonna push somewhere in between then. Screen is black. Oh. The DDoS has begun. Oh my god. Because I pulled it. It's gonna be impossible to keep those. No, but at least like numbers like these, we can definitely be a lot tighter. I'll wait for the ping tomorrow, I think. Right, this would be Faye, I think. Oh my god. Tablet died again. Holy shit. God damn it, bro. If we can get through this project, I will change it after it. But I would like to get through this with this tablet. I think it will make it a nice ending. We started with nothing and then we ended with something that is at least somewhat close to what we want to do, you know. If not, it is already the thing that I wanted to do always. I think that would be a nice poetic ending. Right, so the ping is on the face. The tie-in is to the face, right? So it just entirely depends on which one feels good accordingly. Numbers and stuff don't matter too much. I don't think she's this curvy then. I need her to be smaller, I think. This doesn't feel right. This doesn't actually feel too bad now again. Ugh. I don't think it's very feasible to have done it, but it would be nice right now if I had all the sketches that we have ever done from the beginning. Everything just available at one go. Let's hold off on her for now. Let's see if I can bring Faye into this. Because Faye's pool have to be I don't have for my own. Like for ones that other people did. For like fan art and stuff. I am supposed to have a folder somewhere. It's probably in my old computer. I have to go grab it out or something. Or it's in my hard disk somewhere. Oh, it should be in my hard disk. But I don't have for my own ones because I was never really satisfied with any of them, right? And yeah, I mean, like not looking at it is also fine. We just have to find our way, right? Because the experience lives on. But at the same time, if everything is just on the table here, I can take at one glance have a quick, very fast idea of what worked and what did not. But it is quite unstable. It depends on the face. It depends on this. It depends on that. It's kind of hard to tie down once and for all. That's my Discord. This key is also failing now, huh? Faye, huh? Faye's key, I think, was where was it? This artist is not safe for work, so I'm gonna have to take them off screen here. I have the link in the chat if anyone wants to go though. Is this Faye's key? I think Faye got upgraded actually. No, Faye got upgraded to like more curvy setups. But a skinny frame I think is a good start perhaps. We're not going with overly thick. Oh, it's interesting. That means Ria's ping is unstable, but also stable based on the face. Face ping is stuck at a specific proportion. There are two. Both references are not safe for work. Okay, and both. Yeah, there's the one that I did on stream before. Not on stream. In like the Discord before. The NSFW ones, but I cannot risk having these on stream at all. It's kind of hard. Or original sequence, I think. So who like Ria inherits it, but Ria is also herself different now. Give me a second. I gotta bring this picture up, but I'm not sure where it's gonna open. Okay. Very not safe for work. Yeah, this line, huh? Interesting. Anything that I can think of? Nothing that I remember. Because of this. Not quite, it's not too different anyways, I think. Oh. Oh wait, no, no. Right here. Oh, it's too tiny now, isn't it? Like. Too lost in the sauce. I'm gonna need to find a rec real quick. Alright, gonna go to the toilet. I'll be right back. Yummy, yummy. Oh my god. Art is so fun. Yes, thank you, Deve. Art is so fun. Oh my god. Why doesn't everybody do this every day? Ooh, very fancy. Where is my... I just want a wireframe though. Lisa, can I have some more? Thick versus thin lines, right? Thick lines means light, heavy vibes. We have to compare, I think. Too lost in the sauce, yeah. There, I think. Oh my god, I'm sucking dicks at sketching today. Holy shit. Whereabouts, right? Probably not that different, but then it begs the question. That is... I guess I never... Where is it? Did I not pull it out? Interesting. I don't know where to how to scale these two right now. It's gonna take a while to distill this, but we do have time since we still need to comp stuff. But yeah, I see Ria more and more and more as a daughter, so I feel like I'm making her smaller and smaller, like younger and younger. And then Faye's line is also kind of different because originally the designs are a little bit wasn't meant to be younger per se, but because of the stylization, the eyes and stuff were bigger and the proportion was pulled a little bit more towards that direction. And now there's kind of a mismatch between all of these elements. Because I think Faye logically should be like second half of 20s, I think. Late 20s. Maybe not late 20s, maybe mid, post 25 kind of 20s. It's not to say that she cannot be shorter, but like I feel like given her background and everything that she's supposed to stand for, she cannot be that small. But if they have a huge like size difference, I think that's also a little bit undesirable. Like ideally, the stylization shouldn't be too different. Like the ones we did before that I agree that I thought was okay, they look kind of similar, right? どうしようかね。It's gonna take a while to distill, I imagine. Also, the difference. Oh wait. Eye size difference. Oh no, I bumped up the size for one of these, didn't I? It was probably this. It's probably not significant enough to care. I'm gonna bump it up somewhere over here. Nani ga kawatta? Nanimo kawatte nai ya. Shirane. 知らねえ。Shoulder size, probably, I think, right? I'm doing Faye here, but not my third character, even though the third character is guaranteed to be inside. I think everyone's gonna be in though at this rate. But primarily because the other character is just the same as Rhea. Wait a second. Yeah, I think they would be the same. So the only one with a different, like a huge size difference would be Faye here. If I can just pin down these two, then everything should be fine. Should. Why is that disconnected? Stand by on this first because嘘やろ。Shoulder width sequence maybe it's like just not wide enough for this size. Everybody right now at 1.5 at this rate. That'd be a problem. I mean, if it checks out. Weren't drunk. Alright, I'm gonna have to do some anatomy proper studies tomorrow. I don't know what's happening anymore. Still a lot of things to do. I'm gonna leave this as is for now. We're gonna start prepping. Yeah, no, I'm just too lost in the sauce as to like what the sort of the rib cage and the hips and this and that is supposed to look like. It's been a long time. Like we did anatomy like in the early first 50 streams, right? It's been 300 literally streams since then. Would be nice to get a refresher before I try to put everybody on the same thing. Like if you do one drawing, you can kind of get away with like either copying a reference or getting a feel for it. You just keep pushing lines around until you feel like it's right, you know? They could do it here. I think it's just too inefficient when you have a lot of characters to tie down together. So I'm going to just do a little bit of everything every day, because the idea is to go as far as I can until I reach my technical limit or I just get like too lost in the sauce. Either one's fine. The point is to get to the point where I cannot do anything anymore comfortably. Then we're gonna just go to the next thing. Then the next day I come back, I'm just gonna see first impressions and then just start making adjustments like that. Kind of like how I did my other stuff off stream. That will have to be the way forwards. We're gonna slowly start to calm stuff as well. I'm gonna try and lay some stuff out for all of these things, but I think I might still need a little bit more idea of how the story is gonna go, right? Because I have the entire journey here, but I think I kind of have to maybe talk about like think about the moods of every single character. So I know like what the point of each scene's capturing is, right? Some of these we're capturing, say like for example, the landscape, right? When we finally reach our goal, we're capturing that landscape along with the amazement that everyone else has, right? And yeah, for those ones, like the scene takes precedent. We need to know what is the point, right? What is the focal of each thing? If not, we cannot compose at all. So for the scene ones, it makes sense. It's just a scene. But what about the other ones, right? But I guess we should start at the scene ones first because we do have it. So, right. So which one would be the most important? I think, for sure, like the final climax, right? The climax would be the point of the entire thing. Oh man, how do I even do this? My god. I'm getting slightly DDoS by my music. Okay, I'm going to write it out in this thing, in this list here first. So I need to know what the point of each scene is supposed to be before we can start comping. So this is the original list, I think, right? Yeah, okay, so I can type in here. So we start at the climax because it's straightforward. So the whole point is to find this vantage point, which we finally did. So that is the climax. It should be right here. So this will be the scene focus, right? That will be the main thing. But we, of course, need to show the characters themselves as well. Oh man, I'm kind of scared because the more I think about this entire thing, the more it becomes more like a manga kind of thing. Because telling stories with individual, like singular illustrations is quite challenging, right? Because you can only do one scene. But a lot of the things, you require some kind of build-up, you require some kind of multiple frames within the same scene. Like for example, if I'm doing like this climax right here, am I just going to draw that one landscape and that will be that, right? I guess I could. I can actually, no, I can see it, how that might look like. But because like the other way would be to present like it in a way, like for example, you zoom in on the character's face. You have a character's face where like Ria's eyes like huge or something, you know. And then we cut to the scene. right? Then now you're setting this up in like a more manga way. But then of course the biggest problem with this is you are increasing the workload, right? Immediately increasing the workload. And we're talking about rendered pieces here. So how should I approach this, right? How should I think about this? We can still do just scene only. That would also work. But then again, the climax itself is a bit of an outlier because this is the most important thing. So if we have to spend more frames here, that is also fine. Right, that would also be fine. Actually, now that I think about it, every single one of these things here is mostly scene focused because that's the whole reason why I took the photo anyways, why it got stuck in my head. So, no, not, let me see. Some of them have like more natural storytelling elements, right? Like for example, getting up high finally to like the park that's on the hill, the highest park on the hill, and to be disappointed because you know that you can't see anything because of the thing, right? So this is more emotion, regardless of what the scene was. Single S, right? Disappoint. Single S double P. What's a double S single P? Anyways, who cares? So this is clearly more character focused. Actually, let me change this so that it's clearer what is what here. Ah, thank you, Deve. 1S double P. Right, what is focus? What is the focus here? Actually, this 11 and 12 can be combined together. Maybe, maybe not, because the whole idea is I'm going up there, I'm going to this area, and then I can see jack shit. Because it's literally, I think, a pavilion that's surrounded by like trees. I don't have a photo, I didn't bring it in here. But it really is just a pavilion surrounded by trees. But then the only thing you can see is the sky and like one set of buildings. So it would be, oh my god, it should be here somewhere. I did hold it. Yeah, this building right here. This was what I saw. So I was in this mess of green here, right? Somewhere at this blue area, because that's where the pavilion is. You cannot see into it, that means you cannot see out of it, right? But you can see the buildings. So how nice it would have been, right, to be a resident there, to have this view every day. That was what I thought. So like maybe you can make together like somehow. So this will also be sort of emotion. But then you have to have the scene, right? But that's the thing. You always have to have the scene anyway. So we're just mostly focused on the character. The bigger thing is to focus on the character. Just like how we're disappointed only because of where we are. So we have to present where we are. But the important thing there is the emotion over the scene. So the scene can just be implied. But then people won't really get it, would they? Oh, I can kind of see it, right? Like, what if... Oh, it would... Oh my god, this is quite interesting because for every scene, maybe there's like multiple ways of composing, right? We can compose from like a third party, like for example, right? Let's say we do like a top-down shot of like... Oh man, how would it work? Hang on, let me think. Maybe not a top-down shot. Let's say the building is somewhere like here. Like, let's say this stupid building is like somewhere here. In the background, right? And maybe there's more perspective and this is probably gonna be a lot smaller, you know? Yeah, it's not tilted for now. So let's say it's in the corner here. And then it's like foliage over here, right? And I don't know how it's gonna work, but maybe we have a way for like the characters be like here and then he's like, ah, shit, you know? Oh man, this is hard. I don't know where you place other characters. Hang on a second. The guy getting frustrated will actually be me, would it not? No, but okay, so here's the problem. here's the problem. I experienced, because they were not physically there, right? So that means every emotion that I have and every memory that I have is me. I did everything, right? I was the one who got frustrated at the fact that I can't see anything. I was the one who then looked up at the buildings and thought it would be nice to be there. So I need to get the characters to take over some of these, because we only have one scene. Actually, this is the great thing about having many characters. We can express many different ideas that I felt in a sequence in one frame. So I have to decide now. Is Faye gonna be there or not? While this is a documentary, kind of. Yeah, I would. Man, I would like to put Faye in there. I'm just trying to justify her existence, because I am a stickler for, like, technically correct, right? Technically, only 4 of us were there, not 5 of us. Alright, I brought my dragon character along. Then I brought Ria, and I brought my my third character. Faye wasn't there. There is no physical representation of Faye just yet, actually, as of right now. Okay, I'm just gonna say that she's there. Hang on, let me check. Yeah, okay, the moment I switch it on. Honestly, okay, so actually, I also halfway, I'm like, half of my brain is also thinking about whether Faye would be annoyed or not. Because it's interesting. Under normal circumstances, she would be annoyed. But the thing is, she hates outdoors already. She's only on this journey. If she were to be here, she will only be on this journey purely for Ria. That would be the only reason. So how she reacts is only purely dependent on how Ria reacts, right? And now the problem is, does Ria care? Because Ria is in the moment. She is always in the moment. She doesn't necessarily have a good, like, understanding of the broader purpose of the whole thing. She's only doing things because I'm doing things. Like, we always just together, right? And she's not supposed to have too much emotion. Like, at least right now, I still cannot really see too far in. So she will just be in the moment doing her own thing. That means Faye might not give a shit either, because to her, everything has been annoying so far. So I might be the one who's kind of annoyed. Because, you think about it, right? I'm the guy who's been navigating the whole time. I'm the guy who had the idea to come up here. So the fact that it didn't work probably annoyed me the most, because I'm the one who everyone entrusted to bring up here. So this will be me. This scene kind of sucks. The reason why is because it's too close up. You can't really see people. Actually, now that we have 3 or 4 people here, it's gonna be so crowded all the time. But okay, I'm just gonna plan out my idea, right? The idea is Ria, Faye do something different. I don't know what they're doing. Ria is gonna do whatever she does. Then maybe my third character can be like, holy shit, like, look at that, right? And then I'm just kind of be like, that, right? Yeah, about, like, Ria's physical representation. I think her is unlikely, I would say. The original forms, for sure, I think would be rather unlikely. I think at some point there will be a more official form that takes over. And, we'll see, I think. We'll see. I am kind of in the works of working on one of those, but I'm not 100% sure how far that's going to go either. The limitations and the communications, and there's a lot of things that are going on behind the scenes for, like, the past few months, and it's not necessarily very satisfying either. It's the same as this, you know. Things keep changing as I learn more and gain more experience, but regardless, I'm just gonna start planning some ideas here. Okay, so the reason why I drew this right now is because I saw it in my head, but I saw 2 scenes. I saw a top down where I saw the pavilion. So maybe, like, the pavilion's roof is like here, right? If you can try to imagine. And then the perspective maybe is like this way. I don't know which way it would be, honestly. Maybe it'd be like this, and then the ground, like the concrete pad on the ground. I think there was one, I'm not 100% sure. And then people will be kind of standing here, like I will kind of be standing here and just be like, what the fuck? You can't see shit. Like this is all green, right? And then there's like some dirt here. And then like the other characters will be doing their own thing. And then the other scene I saw was looking up at the thing, where there's like just this... Oh, that should be kind of interesting, right? If I can make it so that it's like a third point perspective with the third point here, and then you can just see the sky, and then the foliage will be here, to really get a sense of the fact that you're kind of surrounded by the foliage. Like you literally cannot see shit. And then there's just the building in the back, maybe. Like maybe not even like that big, like it's just like a tiny building in the back. I don't know how like everybody will be placed in this space. You know, kind of like this, I think was what I saw in my head. But yeah, anyways, it's kind of hard to merge them together. I don't know, like this is the thing about... This is the challenge, I think. To only have one image to represent the ideas and all the emotions and everything that's felt in that one moment accurately. That's gonna be so hard. By 11, 12, I think thereabouts, this is the idea. The other thing that is, of course, the landscape of the final climax, I think would be... So there's multiple ways of doing this. One is the one that I did. I think this is more likely going to be a widescreen count, because I think it will make sense for this to take a lot of space, right? So one thing will be, I think we'll probably have like some kind of a curved perspective, you know? And then like either we do it so that we can see their faces directly like this on this side, and then we see the scene, which will require this warp perspective. Or the other option I was thinking of just now would be to just see the back views somehow. We only see like their back views. Right? If you have like all the characters kind of lined up here, for example, there wouldn't be 5 of us, but if you have lined up and you have just the scene going on in the back, you know, and of course the front part will be really dark. The values and stuff will be very, very dark, so that the back is emphasized. And then we see the mountains in the back, we see all the buildings here, we see some clouds here, just like the sketch that we did before, right? And it would just be the scene by itself. That could be possible. We can even change the perspective so that it's a little bit higher up, perhaps. So that we can have the heads, maybe like the hands on like the railing or something. And then we can have even the mountainous path that was below. It would be really tiny, I imagine, at this point. I don't really know the scaling that well. And then the mountains in the back. There would be the ocean here somewhere. I don't know how it will look like. Shit, I don't know where the horizon is, actually. That's probably the bigger problem. And then all the buildings here. Maybe. Like, I'm not gonna know what I just drew today. By tomorrow, I'm sure. But, it's either this, or the thing that I'm thinking of would be just the scene. So I don't have to worry about like characters here or there or not. But then before that, we would have like Ria going like, holy shit, like, you know, like eyes big, like the big eyes kind of thing. I don't know if he really warrants this, because it's not like the whole journey we were in a cave or something, right? And then we open into this open area. You know, like how shoujo, like the girls' last tour started, the first episode of the anime, where they were stuck in like the buildings and shit, and they come out and then they look at the sky and all that. Because we are kind of just in like viewing all these scenes already, just like here and there through the foliage. So I don't know, might not be to this extent. But then again, like without some of the buildings here, like the foreground here, it'd be kind of weird to have just a scene, perhaps. Or maybe there's a way to squeeze like everything in here with like a stronger perspective, perhaps. I don't know. Find it. I don't know, but we're gonna figure it out. Oh god. Yeah, anyways, junk. But these two are seen. Monster buildings surrounding new buildings. Those things are kind of lame. There might be like a 0 before everything started. You know, maybe we are... I need to find a better way to organize this. I wonder if I should start putting them on separate layers. There will only be 20 of them. Or so. We're gonna eventually have that many anyways, right? I think. There's no way that everything's gonna fit on one layer. Or just 5 even. I'm just gonna start naming these. There might be like a 0 where we are starting the journey like in the airport or something. I don't know where we would put it. Maybe in the lobby of the hotel. That would be a good way to record the hotel as well. Let me see if I can... Did I bring in the photos? I did. I don't want to... Ugh. Where do I want them to stand? I don't remember what the receptionist looked like because it was kind of a nice spot. Where's a good spot? Either the airport or the hotel. The hotel will be more significant, like it'll be more interesting at least. And as much as possible, I want it to be as close to the actual thing as possible. So I'm not gonna put us in the lobby because I was never actually at the lobby, the main entrance of the hotel. I was only at the receptionist. But anyways, the idea was to just let me see, maybe the desk is here and then like the ceiling is kind of low. Shit. This is so hard, like to try and imagine a scene in my head. I don't think we've ever done this. Like it's always been looking at photos and just taking it. Oh man, what am I seeing here? Like what? Okay, so the characters are just gonna... Yeah, you know, get like hyped up and shit, you know, like they're just like, oh yeah, let's go. Okay, now maybe not the right... Okay, maybe not the right hand, just in case. It looks kind of a little bit like a salute from World War II, perhaps, but I'm gonna put the... So maybe the receptionist desk is like here, you know, and then there's like couches. There's always couches everywhere, I think. Anyways, I'm not 100% sure. There should be like an airport cart somewhere. We can just barely see the thing in it. Yeah, we should get better at this slowly, huh? As we plan more and see what works and what doesn't, and then get used to having actual perspective involved, you know? Because I'm not very good at actually thinking in perspective. The interesting thing about the receptionist area is that it's very low in the sense that it's only 1 floor high. You see how like over here it's only 1 floor high, but it opens up to this this multi-story open area. So we are underneath that is the idea. Ooh, there's no way that I will be able to draw this correctly. I would love to have go back and take a look at what the layout is. Yay, and then they're like, yay. You know, like this kind of shit, this kind of vibe. Just to set it up. I think at this point I can't quite see the entire flow and story so well just yet. But then as we put stuff in, I'll probably come back and change some of the things. But that's fine. That's just how it's gonna be, I think. Over here. Oh, there is a mistake here in the sense that I should have brought in all the photos, but I don't think PureRef would have been able to handle all the 4K plus photos. But I need to look at my own photos to really see what I saw. Let me look at my phone real quick. All right. So this is the Arknights event that I went. This is the... Was this the hotel that I stayed at? What am I looking at? Oh yeah, it is the hotel that I stayed at. Oh, they had like a... Oh. Wait, is this Japan or is this Hong Kong? I see like a plane with like Demon Slayers on it. Even like the train station might be nice, I think. You take the train, and I get out the train, and then I'm looking at buildings. Oh yeah, okay. So about motifs, right? I think there's gonna be maybe like repeated motifs. Like for example, this is supposed to be on a different layer. But let's say we're just getting to the monster building. So number one in our destination is the monster building, which again is these, right? Is this basically building complex. It's like 3 or 4 separate buildings. They form like the shape of an E, like this. And then on one of the courtyards, this is the more famous one, I think, this courtyard on the right. On the left is exactly the same, but it's just that I think this one has like the stuff that people like to stand on or something. You can see how it's fenced up here because they want to stop people from doing it because it got a little bit too famous. But what I'm thinking of is that there's 2 ways to approach this. Maybe not 2 ways to approach this. It's just how many sort of in-between frames we want to have, right? We can just have the important points. That'll be the 20. Or we can have some in-between shots. Like, for example, there is this building here. Let's say we have like a vertical portrait pump. There's this building here which is literally just a square. Like this. Actually, drawing it at this scale might not be right because it will be too big, I think. And there's another building here, and so on and so forth. But you have the street level and you have the stores here, right? They have the tiny stores here and so on. Maybe this is a bit too zoomed out, but then the road is on the front. You have like buses and shit, and this and that. But the characters can be seen like walking across like these scenes, right? So if you have a transition here from the airport to this building here, and then later on from the building to some other building, then there will be a series of these guys where the characters are just kind of going across the scene, and it'll be interesting because you can see character transformations this way a lot better because there's always gonna be the same camera angle. It's always gonna be the same sort of pose where they're just walking, right? But the pace at which they're walking, the spacing between the characters, the changes to the characters themselves will become a lot more apparent as you compare all of these. And it'll be kind of interesting to have this set up across the different pieces, if that's possible. But if that's the case, if you do want something like that, it cannot be this zoomed out. I'm just gonna call it 0+ because we do need to see the characters, right? So there needs to be this balance between showing what the background is, because that is gonna be one of the things that changes, as well as the characters themselves. Does that mean that it's better for landscape because we're inherently traveling? And it will be interesting. Actually, this is another interesting thing. If, say, I hit a dead end and I have to double back, the way to show this double backing could be that they're walking to the left and then walking to the right in the next scene, right? It could be walk to the left, dead end, walk to the right, continue, and then walk to the right, dead end, walk to the left, continue, you know, something like that. The more I'm thinking about this, the more it's starting to become like a manga thing. I'm gonna have to learn to compromise, but as of right now, I don't want to sort of limit our imagination here at this point, right? So if it's an idea that seems interesting, we're gonna pursue it, and then when we get too overwhelmed, I'm gonna kill it. We just have to see where the balance is. I think this is gonna be part of the challenge, I'm sure. So this would be a lot more zoomed in, right? But at this scale, you can see it correctly because the people are like this big, according to my photo. People are about this big. Yeah, this is gonna take a while because I'm gonna have to craft the idea and then I'm gonna see if it works. And then I'm going to refine, and then that idea is also gonna suck, and then this and that. I feel like now we're not seeing enough building, right? We may be able to see the character, but we're not seeing enough buildings. So if I extend this up, for example, I can start seeing the residential areas up top and all the air conditioning units. Like there are like tons like this, over here, air conditioning units, and then there's like the circle, right, for the fan. Actually, that's too small. It's like supposed to be half of the thing. And then we have the windows. There is on top, there's constantly windows. Then we have the second floor, like another set of windows here. And then more air conditioning units. And for some reason, they're never consistently placed. I don't know why. Should there be brackets here, or are they all drilling into the wall? I do not know. But like the next floor has like a bajillion of them, you know, things like that. Where's my... I forgot. This is gonna be quite challenging. Holy shit. This is unlike anything I have ever done. And then we're trying to do it at this scale. I think that's kind of crazy that we're trying to do it all in one go. Definitely a very common theme though with the things that I do. In games as well, if there's like a higher difficulty, sometimes I just jump to the highest one and try to get all the achievements at once by completing it one time. So more and more stuff, right? So it repeats. So the idea is that this is a interesting point of like thing, and this will also change, but the camera angle stays the same. It's always this orthogonal, almost orthogonal, I guess. It's never going to be fully orthogonal, but the 1 point perspective head on into the building like this without any depth, it's going to pretty much look orthogonal. And then I hope I'm using that word correctly. But anyways, this will be one of the ideas of like transition. And of course, like the exact scaling, maybe we want to zoom in a bit more so that it's a bit closer and the characters can be a bit closer. Because this is quite the distance between them. Let me see. Yeah, the humans are actually smaller than this. The humans are maybe like this size. So if we're talking about this much space, like why are you guys spread so far out, you know, like so we could really just tie it down to this. And it will still be enough because we will see just a little bit and see the shops change. And yeah, the shops themselves, I'm not you know, I'm not gonna endorse any shops or brands or anything, but I'm still gonna use the exact original what I see. We'll probably try to choose scenes that are not that doesn't have any big brands. Some more local brands I think would be more sort of unique. And then this would be one of the repeated motifs, one of the ideas, right? And then moving into, oh my god, these layers are not organized either. So coming into number 1 here, which is the monster building itself. So monster building is also kind of interesting because it is also kind of like a review. So the way you enter the building, if you look at the photos here, you don't really see an entrance. So there's a couple of ways to enter this courtyard. One of them is via the opening, the only opening on the back, which has this set of stairs that then goes down to this path here. You see this path down here? That path on the right side will lead into this complex, and this is the monster building complex. So one of those is that entrance. And of course, the other one will be the street entrance, in which case you just kind of walk in one of like something that looks like this, It's just like an alleyway, you walk through it. That's how I got in. And of course, people are gonna mostly give you weird looks, especially if you look like you don't belong. At least I look Asian. But like, you know, I don't think they enjoy too many people going in, because it is like the residential area. Like you go in, you will see mailboxes, you will see elevators on the side and stuff like that. But anyways, that's how you get in. So there's a bit of review if you go in through this corridor, like this tunnel. You go in and all of a sudden you're just in this space where you're trapped by the buildings. And there's like nothing you can see except for this tiny sliver of sky. And this other building that's just on the back of it, blocking your view again. Now, do I want to do this review here? Maybe not. I think even if we could, even if it can be done, we should probably just save it for the final if we want to do something like that, so that the final climax will have the most impact, right? It will be the most unique by contrasting against everything else. So in that case, it would just be here. So what will people do here? What will we do here, essentially? Man, I don't know. I feel like Ria would not really do too much. Obvious choice, I think, of me, Faye, my third character, and Ria. The only one who will climb the fence to get onto somewhere high would be Ria. But at the same time, is that how I want to portray her? I'm not sure, because if I do, it feels slightly out of character. Slightly, because I'm not sure. If I don't, then there's nothing interesting going on. Everyone's just gonna stand around. Everyone's just gonna stand around. So by that metric alone, by that reason alone, I have to have someone do something. right? I kind of have to have someone do something. And of course, I'm going to draw the version with the fences. There's a lot of photos out there where there isn't the fence, like they haven't erected the fence yet. But we're going to do it with the fence. So let's say, for example, we definitely have to go portrait for this, right? It's a scale, it's a vertical scale of it. We'll probably do some kind of... man, would it be fisheye? I don't think it would necessarily be fisheye, but we definitely... But this would be way too strong. So I just want to have like Ria standing on the fence itself. Let me see, hang on. Is perpendicular... Like, I don't know how this perspective might be too much, right? But like, if I have her here, I feel like the reason why it's so hard. Hello, the virus. Like, I constantly see the scenes play out in my head, like as a thing that plays out, not like as a single scene. And I think that's probably what happens most of the time for most people. It's more natural to think of time, like events that way, right? Things are sequential. But we only have to we can only choose one. Because what I'm thinking is we can have like a very nice aesthetic shot of Ria sort of with the building in the back somehow. Maybe the perspective isn't that strong, you know? They can just be standing on the thing, on the fence and stuff. And then I kind of want like my other characters freaking out as her doing this stupid thing, well, and then me not caring as well. This will be another view perhaps where... Yeah, this would have to be quite extreme actually. In order for this scene to work out like this, I feel like it'd be quite extreme. Well, we might need to blend it for this. I need to keep things a little bit more consistent perspective-wise. Plotting it like this, I don't have the... I don't have the understanding. I can't see it. If you use a photo, that's one thing. If you're plotting like this, then it's gonna be tricky. We either have to find someone else's actual photo to use, or I'm gonna have to find 3D, because there's no way to guarantee that it's correct perspective setup-wise. We can play around with some of the positioning, of course, but right now this looks bad. Also, this is too much opening, I think. If you want to do this, I think it has to still be very sort of tight like this. This probably looks better actually. Right, and then of course, like, oh well, that part might be visible because the fence is not solid, but we just have something like this. And then the fence might not be this big, maybe it's a bit only this big. Yeah, I can have two people freaking out over here. They'll be freaking out for different reasons. Faye will probably do it for our safety concerns, and then like my third character will probably do it out of consideration for the people here, and also for the actual fence. Like, it's not kind of the whole point of the fence. Well, anyways, just some ideas for comms right now. So what else can we do here, right? Like, what other things can we do? Oh, the other thing I was thinking is here. Actually, yeah, people started taking photos here because they can't stand on the thing they're not supposed to stand on. I actually don't know what this is. I think it's like some kind of like a tiny shed thing for either liquid, like propane, like for gas, or is it for trash? I can't remember which one it was. Maybe it's just like normal storage. I'm not 100% sure. Could just even be ventilation shafts for whatever that's below. But people started standing on the stairs, right? And if you do it at the stairs, it's basically the same setup, but I guess the... Yeah, the perspective lines would be so good for setting things up here. Because there'll be stairs here, and then the railing will come up here. And then go to the side. And then this one will follow whatever perspective that we need to follow here. Oh man, it wouldn't be balanced. Yeah, it wouldn't even be here, really. It would just be the ground and then the person. This might be a better spot if you want people to take together, you know, 3 of them together. Oh, interesting. So this would be a perspective shot, actually. So this would be POV, because this is more of a camera POV. And the camera person will probably be me. For the most part, I think I will be the one doing the thing. Because I don't really want to draw myself too much either. And then there can be other cases where other characters are using the camera themselves. So let me just keep this here for now. The next one that I have an idea for would be number 8A. No, 8B I think it was. 8B, yeah. It's kind of insane. Like, I only looked at this. We only did this one time, right? Like, we only rolled it one time. But it all stuck with me so well because of how impactful this entire thing was. They extended onto, like, notes. I have the photo here. I mean, on my phone. You guys are not going to be able to see it, but... Okay, so 8B. 8B, so number 8. So 8, actually, I had 2 ideas because the first one I thought of was without seeing the original photo. And it was just foliage here, building here. Building looks kind of like this. Maybe I should just drop this a bit. Maybe it's like here. Some more junk in the middle, and there's like a lot of floors here and this and that. And then I will just see the top of people's heads like this. And the idea is that this is a camera POV again. And this, let me see, who's gonna be, okay, Ria is definitely gonna be one of the ones running, right? Is there a hard requirement that Ria has to be in every scene? No, I don't think so. Because having her, like, making it possible for her to not be in the scene would be very interesting, right? Because where is she then? So there's no hard requirement on that. Right. Also, this scaling is probably too big. So we still want to do storytelling as much as possible, right? So of course we're gonna have, let's say, Ria running. And then we can have like Faye trying to catch up, and then she's like, hey, hold up, she's dying. Faye's 100% dying on this journey, by the way. Because it's just all stairs. Holy shit, it's all stairs. How do you draw that hand? Is it just reaching out? You know, it looks like a skeleton right now. I mean, it is what it is exactly that, but I don't know about the scaling and stuff. We have to figure that out, but... And Faye's hands are interesting, right? Because Faye's hands are discolored, so they're easy to tell that it's hers. Although, given this scene, it would be kind of dark in the front. This will all be pretty dark. This is number 1. Number 2 would be the actual photo itself that I have, which looks like this. It's just a landscape. And I think this is probably taken, like, say the path is this way, right? This is a top-down view. Let's say the path is, like, zigzagging this way. The camera is taking it this way, so looking back onto the path. Whereas this scene here is more of like a scene this way. I'm imagining they're running across the camera frame. So if this is going back on the path, I can probably see the people's heads like this, right? The girl's heads like this. So Ria's heads will maybe like right here, and it would just be blurred out. And then like Faye can even be partially visible here. How do you draw like dying? Anyways. The hands will be like Where would the hands be? Like somewhere here actually. And then the foliage would be here. And then there's like leaves on here, leaves here, leaves here. Oh shit, I don't know how to draw leaves like quickly. Shit, this is an open area. It doesn't have to be that accurate, but I would like to get things as accurate whenever possible. Because it'd be kind of cool, right? If you can go on this journey one day and you will see exactly the spots that I'm talking about. And see exactly the things I saw that day. Granted, the foliage is probably going to change anyways, but you get the point. Because that's what a documentary is, right? Exactly what was there. The more real I can make it, the better it is for myself as well. Hello, Silver. Documentary. Oh, shit, that's a new word. So this is quite long. Quite long. Yeah, I mean the building is technically quite long, I suppose. And there's more buildings in the side. Yeah, this is a way more interesting thing just because it's actually real. Um, yeah, god damn it, dude. Okay, so this wins by far right now. It wins by far. Dang, dude. We really should probably base it off of photos because otherwise, like, to be able to put things in a way that can match the quality, because some of these are going to be photos, right? There are going to be ones where the photos are great. So if I use those, but there's no reason not to do it, I'm going to use it. So if I use it, then they will set the sort of render and finish and detail quality up there. If I don't do it for everything, it's going to be very jarring. So our hands might be tied here. No, Silver, I understand. You always said that. You've always told me that, and I believe you. It's just that if you're chatting, I'm gonna greet you, right? But if you're not chatting, I'm not gonna call you out for no reason. What else do we got? Ah, yes. The stupid tree in the path. This thing. Uh, what is this number? 8A. I mean, it's part of 8. I'm just gonna do it here. So let me see if I have any other photos of this thing. I don't think I did. Bother. Oh wow. Okay, this is also pretty nice. There are actually a lot of nice scenes here. I mean, it's just me not being local to the area and also just liking buildings and all these things in general, right? But like, it's nothing special. It's just buildings through foliage. There's literally nothing special about it, other than the fact that it's amazing. Other than the fact that it's amazing. Thank God. Okay, so I don't have another photo. I do have an entire video of it though. I literally have like the 3D scan of the tree. Holy shit. What the fuck? Man. Ria is the only one who will be really active. So Faye doesn't want to be there. She's not gonna be active. My third character may be active, but she's more refined. She's not gonna be climbing trees and doing stupid shit, right? So the only way to spice it up would be to have Ria do all these things. But that's also not quite her nature. That is these kind of like boisterous and more rowdy kind of behavior is reserved for my character that died. So it might be quite tame, I think. Man, because the tree is just a tree in the middle of the road. But I thought it might be interesting, like if we pose with the tree, something like say the tree is like right here. There's like a fence on the side, right? It's a fence on the side that kind of goes down the path. I don't really know how to draw this well yet. I have to figure out how the perspective works. Hopefully with Google Street Views and not by myself. But yeah, how the fuck here? And then we can have like people hiding behind the trees, and then looking at this thing here. It might even have one person in front or something. Then the person is looking up, and then like everybody is like, hmm? Hmm? Just look up is just look up. Maybe there's stuff off screen, maybe there isn't. No one will find out because even I don't know. I didn't actually look up, but um oh no, sorry, there's a photo here. There's nothing there. It could be something like this, rather than like having quite literally we are like climbing the tree and then she's like already out of view, you know, and just her tail over here and her legs. And then like me just not giving a shit, I'm just gonna leave, right? I'm just gonna be out of frame. Like I might even be even bigger, right? I might just see one eye like that or something. So maybe that's more representative of this whole thing. And then we have like two people freaking out over here again. But I also don't want to make it so that like the whole point of the other two characters are just kind of reacting to Ria constantly. Although this could still be a repeated motif though if we want to do this. But it will make Ria a lot more rowdier than I would like at this point, than I recognize her to be. Some of these words are not gonna be legible. I'm not gonna know what I've written. So that's fine. That's one idea. Oh, this is also an interesting one. Let me see. Ah, wait. But my third character might actually be fine with doing physical stuff. I don't think she would be against it necessarily. She's supposed to have that refined vibe, but then like let's say for example, in this case here, this scene here was so this thing here was the whole thing about this is that there are a set of stairs that I want to check out, but on the doors there's very clear instructions about the doors being locked in basically in the next 20-30 minutes, right? And from my point of view, I can see like the flight of stairs is about 4 or 5 stories. I can really see there's 4 or 5 stories of climb, and I know from experience already at this point that it's going to be quite a lot more climbing up top potentially, right? And I don't know if it's gonna be dead end. So I need to know that I can make it back here. But in on the off chance that I cannot, I will have to climb off of this area. And I was wondering if it's possible, like if I can physically do it, not because if you know anyone's gonna stop me, no one's gonna bother. I don't think. Um. Uh. So over here, let's say for example, like Ria would not care. Faye might not be physically fit enough necessarily, but she's gonna do it. Actually, Faye's whole deal is that she's gonna beg us not to climb anymore, I think. Yeah, Faye's whole deal is gonna be try to look for buses to get up instead, I think. Which there are. Now I'm getting more ideas because if you have individual character arcs, for example, right? Like let's say Faye, she's gonna get really tired. She's not gonna enjoy the whole thing, right? But here and there, she's gonna see Ria being really happy, doing certain things, and she's gonna feel better as a result. So we can have scenes where it's just close up on her. Actually, why don't we mix mediums, right? We don't have to stick to just full illustrations. We can have sketch like manga pages and stuff. They should probably be colored. They should probably be rendered a little bit, but they don't have to be to the same level of finish. And they can be there just to show certain character moments, I think. That might be an interesting thing. Oh yeah, she's also gonna be sweating a lot, I think. Actually, no, this is not really related. Um, I need to put it somewhere else, but like basically the characters and what they do, right? Actually, what's Faye gonna wear? She hates nature, right? She's gonna hate outdoors, so she might be wearing a hat or something. But the sun isn't really that strong to really justify it, anyways. You know what? I'm going to move it over here. Um, I know, right? Right after Duvet, you mentioned about the thumbnails. Instead of textual note taking, I'm doing more note taking textually. Um, music kind of ended. Oh yeah, it's kind of late now again. Jesus. Oh, slowly, I guess we are making progress, I guess. I mean, we are making good progress. It's just there's a lot of things to do. If you want to do it consistently here, we need to see problems before they come up, which is why we need to be so tight with everything. I still have to introduce my third character too. It's kind of funny that I keep calling her third character. Sorry. More mindful of, more considerate. Let's just do that. Hang on, let me think. I'm trying to figure out what's the best way to take this notes. Because obviously, splitting into 3 like this makes sense, right? But then it makes certain pieces of information really disjointed. Like, let's say, for example, physical appearance changes. Ria's never gonna sweat. Like she's just like for her, like this is not even like close to a warm-up exercise. But like for Faye, she's gonna be like freaking insane by the end of the whole thing, I imagine, right? So that's the physical difference, physical appearance change. Not sure how well we can represent that, but like it still has to be accounted for. So for like changes like these, it feels like maybe we should group physical appearance changes together and then behavior together, roles together. So for me, it would be what, like more goal oriented, I guess. That would be just me. We just and then what's Faye gonna do? Faye is just going to be miserable the whole time. It would be kind of funny if halfway through the thing, Faye just decided to like, yeah, nope, I'm just gonna sit here. I'm just gonna wait for you guys. And then, but like the rest of the book, she just like the rest of the picture, she just doesn't appear anymore. It'd be kind of funny. But the only way that would happen, I think, the only way that would separate her from Ria would be because she is physically unable to do it anymore. Not just like getting a bit sweaty, I think. But regardless. You guys can't even see this, can you? Like, it's so small. I'm not sure what kind of appearance I would change, but I don't know if it's definitely easier than this. You still have the scenes and you have way more perspective to deal with. You don't have to render, you don't have to color as much, perhaps, but like we're already dropping requirements for those heavily. I think right now the most heavy cost is the number of frames and number of scenes. So if we up the number of frames with a manga, it's going to be hard, I think. Actually, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what these guys will be changing, I think. Bayo just gets more sweaty, I think. I think they will accumulate some changes. I mean, everyone's accumulating changes, I guess. But these two might be accumulating sort of clothing changes. You know, that's like one thing that's really real. If you I don't know if you guys have similar experiences, right? But if you're a kid and you go on a journey with your parents, there is this tendency for like the parents to start collecting more and more clothing, I think. Because like you will walk around, you get sweaty, you get hot, and then you start taking off extra jackets and stuff. And then it will all go to the parent, right? So like maybe something like that, you know, that might be interesting. It would suit the bro, I think. Man, this is honestly, I don't know how you guys see this, because we are kind of planning a lot of things. But I feel like this is always what I've been meaning to do. Because if I want to bring my characters to life, every single thing, every single detail that I can control, I would like it to be controlled, right? Like, it has to have a reason. Like, if I'm carrying stuff, I need to know what's in the bag and why I'm carrying it and how that's going to change throughout the journey. Yeah, everyone's going to start out at the airport. Maybe at the airport, everyone's wearing a jacket. But then by the time you get out, like, every one of those jackets is going to be stuffed in my bag. And maybe because there's like too many things stuffed in the bag, something is gonna fall at some point and it's gonna get dirty. And that's like a new interesting thing to think about, you know. And like considering all of these things is what makes the entire sort of environment and scene and the characters come alive, I think. Because it's no longer just like characters doing cliche sort of like tropes in like a scene. They will all have their own stories and personalities, ideally. And then how that changes their behavior, how that changes each other's behavior, and how that influences everybody's appearances and as well as other things. Oh, I have the links over here that I wanted to pull in for the proportion setup, but my god. What else do I have to think about? My brain's kind of tired. It's kind of stopping. So maybe here's a good stopping point. Let me see if I can punch any. Like, the more I can squeeze out each day, the better, right? Because like that means there's more time for each idea to be embedded, like over time. Oh, over here actually, that I remember something. Because before coming into here, there is a choice. Actually, I didn't take a picture of the choice, but there is a split in the road again, right? Either go up the top or go down below. And I thought going down below was the right choice for whatever reason. Why did I ever think that, actually? But then we can draw one over here, where I'm just looking up and I'm like, ah, shit, it's up top, you know? Like, I'm just gonna be like, what number is this? Parking lot bus street lot number 6. So it would be how do I want to do this, right? I want to draw my character like this, and then like looking up like this, and then being like, oh my god. And it's gonna be very obvious that I dropped my shoulders because I'm gonna be holding a map that I didn't actually have, but it would be a storytelling device, so we're gonna cheat. Maybe like that and stuff, and then I'm just gonna stand here. And I think a lot of these are gonna be quite small in the frame. And then it's gonna be like, bruh. And then I'm looking up at the path up top. I don't know how this is gonna be presented though. It's so hard to imagine. Dang, dude. Because with this, it looks like I'm facing the wall. It means I am kind of looking at the path like this, and then I guess presumably it's going up slightly. And then the tree in the road and stuff like that. There's the railing over here. And then there is going to be this... Right, this rocky ass wall here. And then based on the scaling, it would mean that my character have to be very small if you want to be able to see the top like that. But I also don't get to see the parking lot and the buildings here a lot because we're viewing from the angle. So if we use the perspective of this, and I'm just gonna be like here, I'm gonna look up like that, and then you have our pathing right here, the trees and the foliage. The railings somehow. Then I guess the perspective of this is kind of insane. It's very strong. And it's interesting, there's like a truck here, right? There were a lot of trucks that day too. I guess it's just an unloading area. But then there's like shops here as well. So it's just everything goes on at the same time everywhere kind of vibe. I guess it's kind of Hong Kong in a nutshell, perhaps. Everything is kind of all the time happening everywhere. Anyways, my god. Oh yeah, this is also another one. Yeah, it really helps to have been there, huh? And have that experience. Like, it makes so much sense. I look at the thing, I know what should be done because I know what the focus of it was. Right, yeah, see, like the bus stop one is another one, right? We were talking about the repeated motifs of like the traveling idea. Bus stop 13. Perfect opportunity for this yet again, right? So 13, and this time around, it would be nice to have like that incline, right? Be very visible, right? Incline like this. Like it's more exaggerated than the actual thing, but then we can have the bus stops like this. Actually, maybe this is a bit too strong. It needs to be visible, the incline. And then maybe it's like a couple bus stops. I don't know how does this work? Maybe it's too big. We should have it a bit smaller, like that. Now it might be too small. But of course, like with more distance, I can have like Ria up front, and I can have Faye here, and everybody else is kind of just walking up. Of course, a random as pine-looking tree. Actually, what trees are these? I don't know. This is just like wiggling your brush around. Just take some time. Otherwise, the requirement isn't that high, I feel like, to do this. It doesn't have to be very tight at all. I don't know why they're all crooked though, but anyways, yeah. Now it looks like a forest, but it can be like a bus driving across. Yeah, it'd be kind of funny if there's a bus here and she's like, oh my god, there's a fucking bus. Oh, wait, hang on. That means I need to put that notes in here. I didn't put it down yet for Faye. Oops. And also the last character. The last character is going to be added in a way. Let me think. She's there in spirit, but that spirit should be represented because you can't really feel it through the canvas anyways. Who's wearing it, right? I mean, if Ria's around, I'll probably make her wear it, I think. That's the necklace that I always wear. But like, if Ria's around, I'll definitely have her wear it. So pretty much she's always going to be one wearing because they're always going to be together. Then the representation, so the last character would be... It would just be a name on the necklace, but... We might either... So I will do it... So, okay, where do I even start? The last character, first of all, it's the second character that I created, right? After Ria, back in 2012. And then she's based off of a dragon. So her whole idea is... Wow, that's it, actually. That's kind of it. But in terms of representation, there's two ways to go about it. Number one, we use a bird, something that flies. I would like to just have like some kind of animal or some kind of symbolism. Something that is just there in the scene, but not directly in the scene, or like very tiny in the scene, you know, something like that. And I think likely she will always be visible somewhere, somehow. Other than like it's entirely impossible to do so, in which case then we wouldn't bother trying too hard because it will mess things up. But right, the idea is that she's always in scene to represent that she's always watching over. I think that would be nice. And then like either a bird or a dragon. I think dragon would be, I mean, we're drawing face tail, I'm sure we have to draw her tail in every single scene, so there is already that. It's not like we're trying to be too realistic in that regard, so that's fine. So a dragon would be fine too, especially if it's not too visible, right? Well, this would be that. And then on scenes, like in scenes where it's not possible, maybe we'll just make it so that Ria's necklace is visible. So there can be multiple ways of representing her, but she should always be there. I really don't talk about this character too much, but she's just as important as Ria. So she will always be there, I think. I'll always make it happen somehow. It also helps that her main color is dark gray, actually. It's ash gray, it's dark gray, kind of black. So any place in the canvas where it's kind of dark, we have an opportunity to do it. Oh, that doesn't even mean anything. Actually, that doesn't even matter because it doesn't. We just have to lower contrast, and then we can put her anywhere. Yeah, that would be fine too. Anyways, I'm kind of tired for today. We're just gonna be keeping this pace up as much as possible. As long as I'm still It's kind of interesting, the fact that we have this many scenes, despite the fact that it's quite overwhelming. Well, it would otherwise be overwhelming. It feels actually quite nice because we are going across a lot of different ideas, right? So never like one idea doesn't, any single one doesn't get over sort of saturated with attention, and I don't get too burned out on that idea. Because I can look at something else and have some new ideas, then look at the old idea and be like, oh, I can improve on that again, you know? So it's actually ironically, it's maybe easier to do it when there's so many things to consider. Because the world just comes alive. Or maybe it's just because of the fact that I was there. That could be that too, honestly. Ah, shit, we have to draw a lot of other people's... Okay, anyways. So think about one thing at a time. But I'm hopping off here for today. Thank you guys for coming. I will see you guys tomorrow for more of the same. I think I'll do the thumbnail like this. It's a bit of a mess, but it is what it is right now. Exactly a mess. But have a good night, guys. Goodbye.